Hey, what's up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? If you're listening to this podcast right now, stop what you're doing, go on Facebook, and join our RTBP podcast group. You can find us through our Facebook page or by searching Ready to be Petty podcast group. I started this group to create more of a community around the podcast where you can submit stories that you want me and my guests to talk about, where you can comment on stories that we've covered on the podcast, and where you can share your This Week in Petty. And I hope you'll join us. I also want to point out on this podcast, we talk about the Call Her Daddy drama, and literally moments after Lindsay and I stopped recording, Alex Cooper, co-host of Call Her Daddy, posted a YouTube response video, which we love. It was 34 minutes long, and I drank up the entire thing. But it means that some of the content on this pod is a little bit outdated. So I wanted to give you my hot takes on this YouTube response video before we get to Lindsay's episode. So I was shook when this was released because I thought it would be more like weeks since we would have gotten a solution to the Call Her Daddy drama. If you didn't watch the 34-minute video, congrats for having a life. But also, I can summarize it for you. Basically, she actually corroborated Dave Portnoy, who is the founder and owner of Barstool's story about what happened, and basically said that her and Sofia are not on speaking terms. She went back and accepted Barstool's deal, so she would be able to own their IP at the end of their contract. And there's been no word how Sofia has responded. Alex also said in the YouTube video that she'd be releasing a podcast on Wednesday, a Call Her Daddy episode. So we are waiting with bated breath to see if Sofia will be a part of that. I would be really sad if she wasn't. I thought that they were a dynamic duo, and I really think that that is the secret sauce to podcasts, is when you're listening to a conversation between people that just seems like you're in the room with them. So I don't know how they're gonna come back from here, but I am so excited to find out. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope that I'll see you in our Facebook group. I'm so excited for this episode. It's been now about a year in the making. Welcome back to one of our favorite guests, Lindsay.
I'm so happy to be back, and I can't believe it's actually been a year.
I know. It's sometimes so weird to think about time in terms of what was happening in RTBP land.
Literally a year ago.
Yeah, I know. It was right before I was off to Europe, and I was podcasting right before, and then I was editing our episodes when I was in France.
Right.
It's literally so weird.
And how much life has changed since then.
I know. So welcome back. We're so happy to have you and to hear about all your hot takes. Lindsay's been in the middle of tax season. She's an accountant. So this is her first foray into, is that a word? I don't know. Her first reintroduction into pop culture.
So basically, I'm a professional quarantiner. So while everyone else is living the glorious ISO life, this is my standard, where you just don't shower, you don't see anyone, you eat shit food. This is called tax season. I'm made for this.
Yeah, it's so funny sometimes when I think about how much my life has changed, but then in some aspects how much my life has not changed.
Oh my god, everyone's baking a loaf of bread and getting a new craft, or I don't know, working out. Nah, dog.
No. I order takeout every night. And I've binged multiple seasons of TV.
Oh, so great.
So yeah, to each their own. I'm happy with the time that I've spent in quarantine.
You do you.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're going to talk about some fun topics. The first thing I immediately thought of when Stephenie Meyer announced that she was releasing Midnight Sun was I need to speak to Lindsay about this. So we're going to talk about Midnight Sun. We also want to talk about the Call Her Daddy drama, which I don't think I often talk about other podcasts on this podcast. So I'm actually like really excited to talk about that. And we wanted to chat a little bit about, our time in quarantine, some corona trends that we've hopped on and noticed and maybe love. This Week in Petty's back, so I'm excited for that. So Midnight Sun, for those uninitiated, which if you're listening to this podcast,
you were probably initiated with Midnight Sun.
Yeah, it's like no explanation needed, but just in case you're part of the 1% that don't know, Midnight Sun is Twilight, the first book from Edward's perspective, which is like wild to me. Basically the story is it was leaked on the internet. Stephenie Meyer was writing it in 2008. Where were we in 2008?
Like, did we even go on the internet that much? Like, was that a thing?
Yeah, yes. But like, was it like MSN Messenger? Like,
what?
I don't know.
Was there Google back then?
Yes, but I think that was like also the year that like Facebook came out.
Oh my God. Okay, right.
I was probably writing on your wall like every day, like insider jokes about like cheesy
Totally. And there was like not even a like button. Right? So you would like reply on each other's walls. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That is literally so funny. I don't even think there was private messages at this point in Facebook.
No, I don't think that there was.
There was literally just your wall. So, like, we'll take you back to that time. But Twilight became huge. I think mostly, like, its peak was probably 2009. I think that the actual book came out in, like, I always say this, 2006. Yeah. But I think it came to, like, the masses in like 2009 or 2008 maybe, but the first chapter of the book got leaked and Stephenie Meyer, the author, who like honestly I have a bone to pick with, she was so pissed that it got leaked that she's like, I will never release the rest of this book.
Yeah, like I don't understand. I feel like that was probably really good publicity for her at that time, and like there was such a huge following.
Yes, like us.
Like we were dying, and then she was like, no, like I'm not gonna release it. Like, why ruin it for the rest of us then?
100%, because it was Twilight from Edward's perspective is literally the only thing I needed at that time. Like I would have literally given up my firstborn child to read that entire book. I remember just like getting that book. I borrowed it from a friend, a mutual friend of ours, and it was in the summer, and I read the whole thing in like 3 hours on my couch, and I like was obsessed ever since.
Obsessed. Like, yeah. To elaborate on the level that we were obsessed with, we friggin' bought tickets like a month in advance, like as soon as you could buy them in advance for the movie, not for the book, but we were so obsessed with the books. And then we lined up like 5 hours before the movie started.
Yeah.
We had custom made t-shirts with like
t-shirts. Team Edward.
Like, oh yeah, we had Team Edward, but then we also had like the you made like a shirt with the dice for like something about Alice. I forget.
Oh my God, yes. Okay. This is all coming back to me. I think I had, I don't even like literally remember what the dice was, but I feel like we each chose like different kind of like characters to like represent. And I think mine was about Alice.
Yes, it was. But it was something about dice.
Which honestly, I know it must be like a fucking, I was going to say allegory, a metaphor for something. Yeah. I like don't even remember at all anymore. But I just want to also say like a side note. Whoever created the Twilight movie did Alice and her haircut so fucking dirty.
Ew, like what?
It's so bad.
Okay, and it's like the pixie cap, but then like gelled out. Oh my God.
It's so bad. And Ashley Greene, who plays Alice, is literally fucking stunning. And they made her into like the dweebiest little like elf vampire I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful, but they're like, let's make her look pretty Hain in this. Like, what were you thinking?
It's so bad. And I feel like she wore like vests and like
Yes.
a not cool choker.
Joker, yes.
Yeah.
So funny.
But Stephanie Meyer recently announced that she's going to release Midnight Sun, the entire book, in August, actually on Lindsay's birthday.
On my birthday. Okay, so literally this book comes out on my birthday in a time of life where it's like encouraged and applauded to stay inside in your pajamas and do nothing and order food.
Yes.
So I'm in fucking agoraphobic paradise.
Yes. Yes, I like feel like I haven't like binged a book in like honestly years. So I'm actually so excited. Lindsay and I were talking about this too about like how we still read. Yeah.
Literally, let's talk about divine
novels.
timing, because when Torry texted me to talk on the pod about Midnight Sun, guess what I was doing? I was literally shopping online for like cheesy teen romantic books.
Yes. Trust me, I've tried to read age appropriate books.
And I can't.
And like I just can't. If you're not in fucking high school and like if the like I hate this about myself, but like if the prime focus isn't like finding your first love or whatever, like I'm out. I don't give a shit.
Like I want to read a book about a teenage girl who still is at home with her parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their biggest worry is her first kiss. Like
100%. That's the only thing I want to read. And honestly, it's the same goes with movies and TV shows, honestly. Like, oh
my God, I love this.
Kind of a little bit of shame in this game, but honestly, I don't know. You should just do what you want to do. I think that's one thing that I have learned with age. Yeah, like honestly just do whatever you want to do. And I want to read a book about a high school kid that like spends her summer in like the fucking Cape Cod.
Okay, I just ordered one about like some girl who like spent her 17th like year, her summer in Europe.
Perfect. Like that sounds right up my alley.
The romance is like between like her best friend's her best friend's brother who like comes along on the trip. I'm like, yep.
Yes. Oh my God. The best friend's older brother trope is just chef's kiss perfection. Like honestly, like I will never read enough about that.
I know I'm like 27 and like getting married.
Yeah, I feel that. So yeah, I think it's perfect timing. I like don't like Stephanie Meyer, but like I guess this is a good time to release a book. So I can't hold that against her.
Cute. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think, honestly, you can get that into it as you did when it was told from
oh my gosh,
Bella's perspective?
That's a good question. I think this is the thing, and this is why I hate it. It's because it's like Bella is such a fucking generic character.
Which I kind of like, no shame, I love.
I know, because you're like, oh, that's
exactly.
me.
You can totally relate. Like, whole like beautiful vampire falling in love with you, like you're like girl next door, like
yeah, she's like angsty and like honestly, now that I think about it, I kind of hate Bella.
I do. Okay.
There's like aspects of her that's like when she's like driving like that old truck, but no, I agree. I think that it will be harder to get into it, but then I feel like I'm always like, I want to know what was in Edward's mind. Because he was like fucking creepy. Like if we really get down to it now, when he was like sleeping in her room and stuff like that, or like in her room while she was sleeping. So I want to know his thought processes. Like how can he reconcile that that's okay?
Yeah, and also like when Bella kind of like started to first like fall for him, it was like because he was like a protector, and like, you know, he was like this super handsome guy. When he first became like infatuated with Bella, it was because of her scent and not because it was like, like you smell great. He was like, I want to devour you in like a non-sexual way, like I want to kill
Totally.
you.
Yeah, and then like I also want to be like, was he alarmed when he couldn't read her mind?
Yeah.
Because he couldn't read her mind. And remember, like, he goes on like a camping trip and she's like, where's like the Cullens and stuff like that? Like, I want to know about that camping trip.
When they just murdering people?
Animals. Yeah, that's how they like were okay with like drinking blood, is because it was animal blood. Yeah. Oh my God. It's so funny. I also just like think that it'll be interesting because we get like Edward's backstory from him telling Bella, but like it's also interesting. Like, I want to hear more about like his life and stuff like
I
that.
totally agree. And honestly, like if I do get super obsessed with it as I did with Twilight, which I really hope that I do, because I love being like that infatuated with something. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But really, like if it's that good, like hats off to Stephanie Meyer, because I think that's going to be a really like big challenge for her to write it like in a captivating way that like doesn't make me creeped out.
Totally. Like, did she write it fully in 2008 or whatever, and she's just releasing it now? Or did she fully stop writing it and then revisited
Okay,
it?
so I think she like wrote most of the book and then she stopped. And then wasn't she like going to write it again? But then 50 Shades of Grey did the same thing. And then she did it again where she was like, I'm not going to release it or something.
Right. I always forget that 50 Shades of Grey is literally Twilight fanfic.
Right.
Like, that's wild to me. Yeah. And she was like probably pissed about it.
And the fucked up thing is like, it's the same, like in reality, it's the same kind of concept where it's like, the submissive girl and like the dominant, like it's kind of like why, you know, but
I know, like, how is this so seamless? Like, it is because the book is like written like that, and like Stephanie Meyer is like Mormon and stuff like that, so there are some like values that she holds that she was like placing on this couple. Like when they had sex, it was like after they were married, and like just like yeah, like there was things that she has that like maybe are extreme for like the everyday person that like, yeah, that were woven into like the story that we didn't realize
as 15-year-old children.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, but now like are like evident.
That's super interesting.
I know the answer, but were you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I was Team Edward.
Yeah, I think like that's just like an Outlander, because Lindsay and I also like watch Outlander, which is just so funny at the similarities to both of them. But it's like Jacob, I think, was her soulmate if there wasn't like mythical elements.
Right.
But because Edward comes along, like he's just the better match for her. And I feel like that's the same in Outlander with Frank would have been her soulmate if she didn't travel back in time.
Yeah, I'm totally Team Jamie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Frank also like sucks. Like in the first season, I was like, oh, I like feel for him and like he's like a great guy and stuff like that. But then like as the seasons go on, it's like he's like a trash human being.
I totally agree. And I like in Outlander though how like you kind of side with one character, but then you can so quickly change your thoughts and like teams, and like that was a scene with Twilight. Like I feel like we were Team Edward, and then when he like paced for a whole book, we were like, fuck you, Edward. We were Team Jacob.
Yes, which is like basically kind of what like again happens in Outlander, where they like at the beginning of the series they like reunite after being torn apart by like World War II, I think. And then also, then she travels back in time to meet up with Frank again because she's pregnant and thinks Jamie died. And, like, for a while, it's good. Like, it's, like, a good relationship. So you root for those couples. And, like, it's funny now because I definitely think, like, I would be more, like, Team Jacob.
Nowadays, yeah.
But, like, back then I was, like, all aboard the Edward train.
I actually, like, I think I came out of the theater, like, because I like actually saw Edward in like real life, like as real as possible. I came out of the theater and I fucking bawled because Edward was not real.
I know. I remember crying that night, and I think I was like texting you, and you were also crying because we had like gotten picked up from the movie theater because we were like pre-driving.
Yeah.
like we didn't have our licenses or whatever, and it was just like literally crying to myself that the perfect man like Edward Cullen didn't exist.
And we would never love anyone as much as that.
No, and they would never love us as much as that. Okay, speaking of us going to the movie theater to watch Twilight together, I tell this story, I would say, once a month to whoever will fucking listen to it, and now it's the listeners of RTBP, but because you read the books in your fucking head, you, like, obviously don't know what some names sound like. Oh my God. Lindsay's face on this. I wish we had video, but this is an audio only podcast.
I cannot.
Just like in Harry Potter, when people watched Harry Potter, they like didn't know how to say Hermione. Like people thought that it was different. Well, our mutual friend Taylor Ann, sorry Taylor Ann that I'm gonna out you here, but there's like literally like 6 or 7 of us in the theater, like all lined up in our t-shirts, in our team whatever t-shirts, and like snacks galore and stuff like that. And Carlisle comes into the movie and Edward or whatever says like, "Hey Carlisle," and Taylor Ann peers down the movie theater aisle and she's like, "It's not Carlisle?"
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And I literally will tell that to everyone because it's so funny and so cute and so genuine.
Say that will never go down.
No.
Ever.
No. I literally will share that with anyone who will listen. It was just so cute. I also just remember watching the movie and just being like, this is so poorly made.
So, didn't we go together like a second time to see Twilight?
Yeah.
And we peed our pants laughing at how fucking terrible the acting was. Like, okay, like when Edward was like smelling Bella for the first time, we were like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
It was the least sexy thing I've ever seen.
Oh, creepy.
I've ever seen. It was so creepy. It looked like he was like constipated, right? Or like smelling something like absolutely disgusting. Like it was so not hot. Or like even just like the thing that gets me about the Twilight series is when the vampires run uphill.
Oh my God.
And it literally looks like they're running up like an escalator.
Okay, and then the ones, I don't remember which ones they were, but they were like Edward's cousins, and they lived at like what looked like a beautiful ski chalet. Do you know what I'm talking about? The blonde ones?
Yes, I do. Yes. Like it was like a clan that they were close to.
Okay, can you picture them in your head? Okay, so yes. Picture them in your head and then think of white chicks. Right?
Oh my God. Yes, because they all had to have, like, they were cast on, I guess, their acting skills.
Yeah.
Not the way that they looked, but then half of them had to be, like, blonde and stuff like that. And they're wearing, like, the worst wigs I've ever seen. And they had to make all of their skin perfect and, like, completely alabaster white. And it's just so funny how bad they all look.
Anyway, I hope that I don't know if they could do a Midnight Sun movie.
If it was with, like, it would be cool if it was obviously the original cast. Or if they just honestly, like, made it with a completely new cast. I would be also down for that. I think also, like, things that play well in a book, but, like, not, like, in a movie, like the red eyes and stuff like that. Like, I just think that the technology that we had back then just didn't do the books justice.
I totally agree. Especially with all the vampire aspects, like the running and shit. And then like when they tore the heads off to kill them.
Oh, I hated that. And they like shattered and stuff like that. That was like fucked. Yeah, I hated that. You brought up a good point in our like pre-podcast discussion. You were talking about how I think it was the 10th anniversary. I was going to say 20th, but that wouldn't be the case. The 10th anniversary of Twilight was released. It was called Life and Death, and they switched the genders. It was Beau was Bella, and I don't remember the Edward character what her name was, but they switched, like, Bella was a boy and Edward was a girl, but nobody
heard about it. And I feel like there's a reason we didn't hear about it.
Yeah, I bought it. Trust me, I just haven't read it.
Yeah, totally. Like, it's not like I didn't own it, but yeah, I didn't even crack it open. Like, yeah, I just feel like, should Stephanie give up? Like, if she, like, I feel like this is just divine timing that, like, during quarantine now she's, like, releasing it. Which is, like, as a businesswoman, because that's, like, what she is.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I get it, but like, is she beating a dead horse? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, right?
I don't know, because like I'm gonna purchase it to complete.
I've pre-ordered it. My birthday's planned. Yeah. Don't fucking Zoom me on my birthday because I'm not gonna answer.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna pre-order it, but will everyone else? I'm not sure. Because also I feel like the people like us that enjoyed it at the time, like, again, not us specifically because we're buying it. Oh, of course. Yeah, like I will eat it up. But like the general population are like grown adults who probably like don't care.
What's it like to like care about current events and read?
Yeah, like not want to read like a fucking vampire novel. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to like see how successful it is, and yeah, if we can enjoy it as much as we did in high school.
Side note, I really hope so.
Oh, me too. Yeah. For sure. It's like the one thing I'm looking forward to this summer because all my other plans have been canceled. So I think one other thing I want to say before we move on is that, again, I think I'm aging myself. Not that anyone, like, very young listens to this podcast, but in high school, you had, like, your school computer, like, log on. And when you were, like, in classes that had computers, you would, like, log on to your account. And my background was like basically a naked picture of Jacob, of Taylor Lautner. And like, yes. I just lived my life like that. It was like duplicated. So there was like 3 or 4 naked Taylor Lautners as my background. And like my teachers would come around to like help me with stuff or whatever and like just see
like,
that.
Ain't
and
no thing.
No one mentioned it, but it's just so weird to think that like I was just like that, like ballsy in high school.
See, I'm pretty sure, you know how like we had those binders and they had like the plastic thing in the front where you could like put whatever. I totally had Twilight stuff in there, like pictures, but I think I made a collage of Edward. I had like 4 pictures and then I had like a quote in the middle. Like I made it.
Oh my god. Oh, I love that so much. Cake and Cake. One other thing that just really dates us. One of my friends for my birthday in high school illegally torrented the movie and gave it to me on a DVD,
oh my god.
disc. And then I put it on my computer and I put it into iTunes and I put it onto my iPod Nano.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yes, like the purple fucking Nano with the tiny screen. Like the screen is probably like 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. And every night before bed, I would just like
your like freaking huge iPod dock.
Yes.
Oh my god, I remember this so well.
Yes, like I had put it into those docks that were
ginormy.
Like Yes, like literally it probably weighed like 40 pounds. And I would just like watch it and listen to it and then just be like depresso listening to the
Oh my god,
soundtrack.
I'm obsessed.
Ugh,
The days.
memes. Okay, another thing we wanted to talk about that's very, very much in the news right now is the Call Her Daddy drama. Are you a Call Her Daddy listener?
Okay, to be honest,
Yeah, I'm not. So just
like,
like,
that's what I was gonna say.
yeah,
I'm
be
like,
don't
I'm
worry.
like a prude. Like, we just got off the topic about like how we only like teen romance books where they like their biggest worry in life is whether the boy is gonna kiss them. So like I think that gives enough about us.
I'm literally joking. I'm literally dying like, holy shit, I didn't know that Lindsay was going to be holding up a mirror to my entire life during this podcast.
Oh
like, holy shit. Wow.
See, I just like
wow.
I don't like I can't I'm all for like woman's lib,
Yeah, of course.
but yeah,
It's
I'm a
crude.
prude. I'm just gonna say it.
Totally. So I'm not a listener, but I have listened to like a few sporadic episodes. And like because they're just in the podcast world, obviously I kind of tune in and watch clips and follow along that way. But yeah, I don't listen. I don't think that you necessarily are a prude with like in terms of the way that they talk about sex, because like they are like very like all in, and it is in like a crude manner. Like it's on Barstool Sports, like that's who the media like provider is, the podcast platform, which is like a sports and kind of guys, like really guys type of website. So I definitely think like I don't necessarily think it's like bad if you don't listen. I think like yeah, it's great for certain people, and I think like it allows people to talk about sex in the way that they want to, which is great. But yeah, I totally get that like some of it is just like, I don't know, not our cup of tea.
No, and like also, well, right now I'm like working at home all the time, but like when I'm at work, all I do is listen to podcasts. Like it's so awkward,
Yeah.
like sitting in my little cubicle and like my boss is walking by, and if I'm listening to a podcast about like somebody giving a blowjob, like probably not a good idea.
Yes. Totally. I totally get that. Yeah, 100%. Like when you're in public and like they're talking about like 69ing and you're just like, this isn't appropriate for the context that I'm in. I think like another thing about sex positivity, which this podcast tries to be, is that you can talk about sex in the way that you want to, and you don't have to. If people don't want to talk about it, like that's also their choice, and we don't have to like force that on them. So I think it's totally fine with whatever your comfort level is, or however you want to talk about it, if that is serving you. I think the thing usually is that people aren't talking about sex, and that's not serving them. So, right. And like harmful. So yeah, I think speak about it however you want to speak about it. Also, again, for those uninitiated, Call Her Daddy is a sex podcast hosted by Sophia Franklin and Alex Cooper. And yeah, it's on Barstool. It's been around for 2 years. But yeah, they basically talk about all things related to sex and like also pop culture and celebrities and that type of stuff. But the general topic is sex. And I hate Barstool. I think it's like super problematic, and like some of their content is funny, like I'll admit that, but I think like in general it's like very like gross and like misogynist and stuff like that. But they have the most successful podcast like run by women in the entire world.
Okay, that is crazy because so like what I know, correct me if I'm wrong on anything, they started off their podcast and it was like a couple of thousand followers when Barstool picked it up.
Yes, correct.
And now they're like one of the top 10, or they were one of the top 10 in Apple Podcasts.
Yes, which is like wild. So a few things, like the fact that they're one of like the only female hosted podcasts in the top 10 is like crazy. Like that's such an accomplishment. And just like the podcast genre is like dominated mostly by men, just like kind of radio before it. So like they absolutely blew up. Like they are so talented. They're great storytellers. They have such good chemistry together. They have created such a following and such a listenership that's just like it's unheard of.
They really like developed a brand too. Like it's not just the pod. Like they have, well, they like call her daddy, like the slogan, I guess, and like all the merch. They have like a following. Their Instagram like accounts are huge now.
Yeah, like the podcast Instagram has almost 2 million followers, and they each have about 1 million followers. And they've just been able to capitalize so much on basically them just talking about whatever they want to talk about, which is like amazing. So what's happening right now, in case you're not following, is over the last couple months, they've kind of hinted that they've been having troubles at Barstool. So they were like playing weird songs in their podcast that like had lyrics that were about like an ending coming. And they named one of their episode titles like Help Us, but spelt backwards.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, which is like so funny and also scary, like at the same time, if you like think about it. And there was just a bunch of hints. And then as soon as I think April started, they weren't releasing new episodes, which like quarantine has been when most podcasters have amped up their content. So everyone was shocked and everyone was wondering what was happening. And basically they said that they couldn't speak about it. They were working with their lawyers and something was happening. And people just made assumptions that it was because of contract deals. But basically what happened was they were shopping around to get either picked up by another network or to go out on their own because they were making so little money at Barstool. I think that's actually like fair. They were on a 3-year contract. They had already done 2 years. So part of me is kind of like, oh, you should have just waited it out. But they had such a tight contract that they weren't making money on other like deals, like Instagram ads. And they were not making money because when they were first signed on, they were like nobodies. And they didn't know, obviously, that they were going to blow up to one of, like, Barstool's, like, best successes.
Okay, so what's the guy's name again?
The owner of Barstool? Dave Portnoy.
Okay, I hate him.
I hate him so much.
He makes it seem like they were making bank before.
Yes, which they weren't. So it said in the articles, because literally every newspaper article has picked this up. It said that when they started, they were making like $70,000, which to like normal people like us, that's a lot of money, obviously. But in the podcasting world, as well as living in Manhattan, that's like not gobs of money. And then over the past 2 years, they've worked with like sales from their merch and again, more brand deals with the podcast. They were clearing about $500,000. Sofia was, at least. Alex, who does all the editing, was making like $600,000. So obviously that they worked up to a lot. But if you think about equivalent influencers who can make $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 for like one single Instagram post, that's not tons of money. And they were like not allowed to do some of these things because they were on such tight contract with Barstool.
And I think another thing that is like so shady is I think when they picked them up, they like took advantage of how inexperienced they were at that time.
Totally. I feel like it's tale as old as time where a person in the industry gets picked up for being a talent by a huge agency. They sign on to their first contract and they're like, this is so much money and this is so good for me because otherwise I would have such like small listenership and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they're huge. They could be making so much more money and their contract has like outgrown them.
And also, like, at that time, they wouldn't know all this legal jargon. And why should they? When they think that they're
Totally.
getting such a good deal because they're probably being swindled by Barstool.
Totally. Who's so
Right?
greedy.
Like, how are they supposed to know that they're signing their lives away?
Absolutely. And we see this like again, like there was that time in like 2016, I think, where everyone was leaving BuzzFeed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like tons of their content creators were leaving BuzzFeed because BuzzFeed and other media companies are treating these basically like content creator, like talent, like influencers like regular employees. So they were getting like salaries, and it's like, no, they could be making so much more if they were on different types of contracts.
I totally agree. And I think a 3-year contract is really unfair for like any means. Like,
Yes.
there should be a clause where they can like revisit every year, or I don't know, have like performance measures or some kind of incentive, because like, I don't know. But I also like don't know the whole story, so my opinion could be like
Neither.
wrong or like off guard.
No, I think like again, also I've only read a handful of news articles and listened to like a few podcasts about it. But yeah, I agree. Like as we move on in this like new world of influencers, I'm sure that contracts are going to change to evolve more and have the like talent per se like be treated more fairly.
Totally. And why would they need to? Didn't they sell like all of, like they sold intellectual property completely, like the whole brand,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like when people do that, they're like, well, I'm going to grow with this brand. And with Barstool, I have like a built-in audience of millions of people. So if I don't think that they're disregarding that Barstool gave them their start per se, but I think like they do deserve a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was really shitty of Portnoy. I can't even say it without like cringing.
Same.
I think it was really shitty that he made a freaking pod. Like, talk about being petty. Like,
oh, I know.
I hated that episode. That was so unfair.
I know. And I checked before we recorded this. He has taken over all of their Instagram and Twitter and of course podcast stream and posted his own shit. And okay, on one side, I'm like, you greedy bastard. This is like so awful. I also think he's like tried to drive a wedge in between the two girls because he's saying that like Alex came to her senses. Right. It's Sofia and her boyfriend Suit Man that are like really like will never come back, etc. So I think he's like really feeding into that. But on the other hand, I will say some of his stuff, I'm like, this is how you did build a huge brand, because some of it like was funny.
I agree. Like, he's definitely like a good businessman. When I was first starting to get into this story, like I started to wonder if there was a conspiracy between Alex and Portnoy. Because think of how much the pod has blown up because of this. And he keeps mentioning that like him and Alex were like working on a deal and blah, blah, blah. And that he was going to sell the merch for like Free Your Fathers or Free the Fathers, right?
Yeah, that confused me of like why he wanted to sell that and like why he allowed them to keep their posts up that say like, this is why you're right. It kind of does seem like almost a marketing strategy because everyone's talking about it. He allowed them when they posted certain things. He allowed them to stay up. Like when they posted on their Instagram, like, we can't talk about it right now, but we're not recording the podcast. We'll let you guys know what's happening. # Free the Fathers. He left that up.
I don't know.
Oh my God, that is fucking wild if this is all an act or like if this is like actually a conspiracy between Alex and Portnoy. Dave Portnoy.
Again, it just seems like perfect timing. Like, we've got nothing better to do. than to dive into some goosey drum because there's nothing else going on in the world with all the celebs like quarantined in their mansions.
Totally. But it's just also wild to me, like, why you would choose to mess with the success of this podcast, because again, it is literally the top rated female podcast in the entire world. Like, isn't that enough?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, that just seems so sloppy. On their Twitter, their banner on their profile, it said Call Her Daddy presented by Barstool, and a few weeks ago they cropped it, so it said Call Her Daddy resented by Barstool.
Oh my god, I love it.
Like, they just cropped the P out. It's so funny. Like, I don't know, just those types of little things I just, like, love.
Okay, another thing to add to the conspiracy, which I cannot believe we haven't brought this up yet in this topic, is, do you think that Sofia and Alex are actually fighting in real life?
I don't know, because I don't think any of them have actually spoken on it.
I think you're right.
That's the thing. Like, they might not
because
be.
It's all like, yeah, that's true, because it's all like speculations about like, okay, what's her boyfriend's name? Like the Suit or something?
Yeah, Suit Man.
Or like he was like shopping for other pods or companies to like play
networks.
Them. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, he works for like HBO or something huge, and he basically recognized that the girls were taking advantage of and were shopping them around. And I think both of them were on board, or at least this is the narrative. But then Barstool offered them to get out of their contract 6 months early, and they got like an additional payout. And Alex reconsidered, so they say, and Sofia didn't.
I don't know what to believe.
Neither do I, but it is juicy, and I'm following like every single detail.
I am too, and honestly, I hope that it works out for them too. Like,
same. I don't even know them or their content that intimately, but like, I really hope that this doesn't come between them, and I hope that they also realize like friendship is so important, but also like their podcast was a combination of both of them, and that's what made it successful. Like, people say time and time again, like, why they like listening to podcasts is because it's like a bunch of friends hanging out, and like that was definitely something that they did really well. So it would be really shitty like if they moved on but like did separate projects or something.
Okay, and another thing, Portnoy is like selling merch against the Suit Man.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. I'm pretty sure it's you who's the root of the problem. Like, don't use him as a scapegoat.
Yes. I know, literally selling merch that says like cancel the Suit Man, and like it's actually like so funny but also like horrific at the same time.
I can't even.
I can't. It's so crazy how people like capitalize on these like incidents. Also, just like, who's buying that?
Right?
Like, I'm not showing up at the next function we're allowed to go to in a fucking cancel Suit Man shirt.
Oh my god, I love it.
And they were like, I looked, of course, they were like $30 US, and like the hoodies were like $55 US. Could you imagine? Like,
nah, dog.
Buying a hoodie that says cancel Suit Man for like fucking 100 Canadian dollars.
It's gonna be a no from me.
Ugh, I just can't. We do not support Barstool here. And yeah, we just wish the best for Sofia and Alex.
If I were in their shoes, I would have done the exact same fucking thing, actually, because Barstool was going to make them sing. Like, okay, you know how who's Wonder Woman? You talked about on your last pod, or maybe 2 pods ago. Remember that, like, super embarrassing Imagine?
Oh, God, Gal Gadot.
Oh, my God, with, like, Will Ferrell and everybody?
Oh, God, I blacked that out of my memory.
Like, I'm cringing. Like, the blood is rushing to my face because I'm embarrassed for them.
Yeah, me too.
Barstool, like, wanted the girls to do something like that. I would have been fucking out, too.
Stop. Are you fucking for real? Could you imagine?
No, like, I'd be like, contract's over, take everything, I'm done.
I'd be like, I all of a sudden developed like laryngitis. Like, sorry. Like, sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they probably had to do so many things that they didn't want to do with Barstool. So, like, good riddance. But yeah, so annoying. And it's funny because it's like Barstool is complaining about how much money they're losing. It's like, well, you could have just like offered them some more money and kept making
Yeah, I'm
millions or
pretty sure you
whatever.
guys are fine. Like they were playing the victim
Yeah.
card, like they couldn't pay their employees. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you guys have banked. So like, let's shut up here.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's so funny, them playing the
Yeah,
victim.
classic.
Classic. Yeah, twins. Another thing we wanted to talk about is just things that we're doing in the time of Corona. Lindsay, why do you want to tie-dye a sweatsuit?
Okay, like I have to restrain myself from ordering a tie-dye kit. Like I hate myself for this, but I want to fucking tie-dye.
Okay, I will say this. Rupert from Survivor ruined tie-dye for me.
Oh my god, really?
Yes. So, like, multicolored
Okay,
tie-dye.
I want just like single color.
Yes, okay, good. Because if I were to tie-dye, it would be like a blue or a pink or a purple, like lavender, single tie-dye.
100%. I follow this Instagram influencer. Her name is, okay, you'd actually like really love her. Her name is Jennifer Lauren. And like every day she plays music on her like Insta story, and it's all like Hilary Duff or like good throwbacks, like such music.
Love.
She tie-dyes like everything. And I'm like, I just need to do this. But tie-dye is so expensive right now. And it's on every website. Like, so like you can do it yourself. Like all the stores are like magically selling tie-dye sweatshirts and everything. Do I really want to spend $50 on a tie-dye hoodie that I'm going to throw up in like 3 months when the trend is over?
I know. But the answer is probably
like,
yes.
Yes, I'm going to go buy a tie-dye kit.
This is the thing, is that I think I would want to do it myself, but I'm like bad at that type of stuff.
Don't sign me up for arts and crafts. I cannot do anything.
No, neither can I. So like I feel like I would want to do it because again, would I spend that money on something that I'm not gonna wear all the time? No, but like I feel like I would be so bad if I did it myself.
I agree. I like, hopefully the trend is over and I can like resist the urge completely then.
Yeah, it's literally funny when you say that because it's everywhere.
Ugh, everywhere.
You can't go on one social media app without seeing everyone.
Okay, also the 80s. I don't know if this is 80s or 90s actually, bike shorts.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I cannot wear those.
Yeah, I fucking bought some.
If I ever wore that length of pant or shorts, like it just looks like I'm part of like an actual like cycling club or something.
This is so embarrassing because I now have I have a bike and now I have those shorts.
Oh my god.
I'm a fucking Vancouverite and I hate myself.
You are a Vancouverite. I feel like 80% of the things that Lindsay and I talk about are how grateful we are that skinny jeans came into
Thank
style.
God. And you cannot wear flare jeans. I don't care what anybody says. I will judge you so hard for it.
My life started with the advent of skinny jeans.
Bless skinny jeans. Never going out of style. And even if they do, I don't care.
I don't care. I feel like that would be one of the things because you know how people are like, there's like classic things and then there's super trendy things. I'm hoping skinny jeans are like the classic things that you can wear literally to the day I die. And they're not like, something that come like really passe, but I'm 5'2". Remember like really flared yoga pants?
Oh my god, the original Lululemons.
Yes, like that's what I used to wear. Like I was this like little stumpy like
with this original scuba hoodie.
Oh, of course.
I want to die. If those pictures of me ever resurface, I'm taking like a 2-year break from all social media, everything until everybody forgets me. I'm just gonna hermit in my little like quarantine life permanently.
Me too. Oh, those damn scuba hoodies. And like when people had them in like more than one color and you were like, what are you rich?
And the matching headband, like the thick
Oh my,
headband.
oh, thick, just fucking slick to your your ponytail.
That would shoot me in the
Oh
face.
God, literally so bad. Ugh. Yeah, I hope that I don't like. I always think about this of like in 10 years or 20 years or whatever, will I look at pictures of me now and be like, oh my God, I can't believe like I wore those like.
I think that now we do that when we look back on when we're younger, and then when we're like older, do you know how like we used to be like, Mom, why do you wear those jeans still? Or like they're so out of fashion. That's what our kids are gonna be saying about us when we're still fucking wearing skinny jeans. And they're like, Mom, that's so embarrassing. Why are you wearing those?
Yeah, they're like, Mom, you can't middle part your hair anymore. Like, you have to go back to the side part. Like, I hope that day doesn't come anytime soon. I haven't made a banana bread in quarantine. Have you?
Okay, I have not. I feel like everybody and their mother has made banana bread but me.
A hot take, the banana breads I've seen online don't look good.
Okay, that's kind of true. I feel like people are trying to be fancy or, creative with their banana bread. Give me the old recipe, the classic one that mom always had or grandma always had. And since you all are making banana bread, like send it over.
Yes.
I don't want some new shit in my banana bread.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I also just like my mom's recipe. It's like basically cake.
God bless Maureen.
Yes, and her cooking, and I won't make any other recipe. Plus I used to make banana bread like regularly, so I don't know, I don't need to make it in quarantine.
I'm just like not that good of a baker, so I just don't even go there.
I don't know. People have also been making bread, and I just like I can't. Like it's something I just will not.
Like, where do people get this time in quarantine? Okay, obviously they don't work for public accounting firms.
Yeah. I haven't been able to find yeast, so I couldn't even if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
That shit's like flying off the shelf. And flour and rice sold out in Vancouver.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, like chocolate chips and stuff here are like hard to come by because everyone's making cookies and stuff.
Good on them, I guess. Another quarantine trend, I don't think we have talked about this, but I just thought of it. Press on nails because of all the nail salons that are closed.
Gosh. Yes, I've seen people do that. Have you tried?
Okay, like, no, because I feel like, again, I would just destroy them. I can't even paint my own nails.
I painted my own nails for the first time in like 4 years. For some reason, I have this weird time thing where like I'll just like, oh, that was like 5 years ago. I'm like, no, that was 12 years ago.
Like when we were talking about Twilight and the first release in 2005, I was like, oh yeah, like that's like it's like 3 years ago. I think it was long. No, it's 2020. Like what?
It's so weird. Yeah, like literally, I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, that was just my undergrad. It's like, well, I've been out of my undergrad for 6 years.
Like my high school 10-year grad. No, your 10-year.
Yes, was supposed to be this year. Did you know? Like people contacted me and was like, I thought you would be planning it. I was like, yeah, fucking right. I would not attend.
No, I'm like not attending.
No, I feel like there's no need in this day and age to have a reunion.
Like anybody that you want to know about, you already know about.
You can. Totally.
Vice versa. Like anybody that I want to know about me and my life, they're going to know everything because I'm not
totally
like, not know. Like, I don't know. I just think it's like, it's almost like tacky at this point.
It is 100%. And yeah, there was no way that I was planning it or attending, but yeah, it would have been this summer, I guess. Linz, do you want to talk about claw clips?
This is a trend that I've actually like hopped on board.
Me too. Absolutely.
Why did we forget about claw clips?
I don't know. I bought one 2 years ago or like a year and a half ago when I was Rachel from Friends for Halloween.
Love.
And then I just kept wearing it.
Oh my God. Yes. Snaps for Torry.
Yes.
I have mine like to separate my hair when I'm blow drying it because, okay, side note, I made a New Year's resolution. This is so vain. People are gonna hate me to not
No.
use hot tools on my hair.
I love that. Why would people hate you for
Because
that?
like people are like, oh, I wanna like volunteer more, and I'm like, I'm not gonna use my straightener.
This just shows us as the type of people. I'm like, why would anyone judge you for that? And then you're like, because people like fucking volunteer. Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I think that's great. I love that.
And you know what? In prior years, I've like tried to do New Year's resolutions that were like better for the world or better for like myself and my like personal growth. And I never fucking stuck to them. But I stick to this one. So joke's on all you. Like,
that's so funny. So now you use a claw clip.
so like, yeah, like no hot tools like direct, but I still blow dry my hair or else I look like Dan from like freaking Forrest Gump when he's homeless. Like that's what my hair looks.
Oh my God.
I can't. But yeah, that's why I have the claw clip. But then I don't even know how I caught onto this Corona trend. I guess like Instagram. But then I started to put it like, yeah, like the Rachel clip behind.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Me
I
too.
think it's so cute.
Me too. It's so cute. There's like one influencer that I follow that does that, like in and outside the house. And Rowan, my little sister, rocks a claw clip like nobody's business.
She would rock it like a model too.
I know. I was with her earlier today, and my auntie said, I think you're like the Kendall Jenner of the family, like the model, tall, like skinny and stuff. And I was like, what does that make me?
Okay, but she totally is like Kendall Jenner-esque, but she's way fucking cooler than Kendall Jenner.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love that.
Another thing that's just like been a trend in the pandemic for me is just like how the scale of how bad I'll show up looking to work.
Same. Okay, I'm podcasting after work right now and I'm wearing my pajama top still.
Yeah.
But it's like, would you rather sleep more?
Oh, absolutely. Like I roll out of bed into work.
Too.
But like I roll up with like my puffy sleeping face and stuff like that and no makeup. I'm like trying to like get my skin like perfect, but like, yeah, no makeup, like gross hair. And like at first I was wearing like work, like blouses and like tops and sweaters and stuff. And now I roll up in like gym clothes so I can just like immediately go like do my yoga, like YouTube video.
100%.
Like today, someone like, I'm not even gonna lie, commented on it.
Oh my God. What did they say?
I like don't even want to repeat it. It wasn't bad at all, but like I take offense to it because I take offense to everything. But like it's so funny of like how far the mighty have fallen of just like how shitty I will now. And at first I was like, okay, it's like colleagues that are like on my level. And then I was like, Kate, now it's like direct supervisor. And I'm like showing up to meetings with like the director of my department. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm still in this like gray hoodie that you saw yesterday.
I love it. I'm the same. I feel like everybody should be the same. If they're not, they're insane. Because who would literally dress up when you're not going to see anybody?
Totally. Also, I want to be clear that it's a shirt on top and pajama pants 100%. On the bottom.
If you wear jeans in your house, you are a psychopath.
Such a psycho. There's no exceptions. No. None at all. Also, I haven't worn a bra with an underwire in weeks. When
quarantine first started, this is another confession. I discovered Poshmark.
Yes.
I sold my life.
Yes.
And I also like nobody bought my used bras, but at the time I cleared out my bras with underwires. No, I literally don't own a real bra anymore. Like I don't even own a push-up bra. I used to wear like I'm like, nah, dog.
Oh, no. We're leaving those in 2019.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. Yeah, it's amazing not having to get ready for work and stuff like
Love
that.
it. I hope this life, well, I do in some aspects, but in this aspect, like,
Yeah.
never end.
Same. I feel that so
Mhm.
hard. Yeah, like obviously I hope everyone gets better.
Yeah.
But I hope that we can keep some of these like work from home
I
things.
totally agree.
As I mentioned at the top of the show, this weekend Petty is back. Lindsay, do you have anything you want to share about your week this week?
Okay, I have a number of good items, a couple bad. So where should we start?
Let's start with the bad and end on the good.
Okay, bad. Last time
Mhm.
last time I was on the pod, sorry, we were talking about how we were both going off to Europe, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I went to Europe, I got engaged in Santorini, like best thing ever.
Yes, I can't get through the video without
No,
crying.
I was like bawling. It was like so stupid. And I didn't expect it. I was like hoping for the best, but I think I mentioned on the pod that I like went through our apartment and I couldn't find a ring and I was like fucking pissed. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I sound like such a bitch. But so we had this wedding planned and I think we have to cancel.
Why are you telling me this
I know, I'm
live
so
on
sorry.
the podcast?
It's because they're talking about opening up international travel maybe in December, and our wedding's supposed to be November 11th. No, but November 10th, sorry. And it's November 10th only so that we can have a national holiday the next day after our anniversary, like for the rest of our lives. Because
Oh, that's so smart. Holy shit. That's so
so I
fucking
think
smart.
so it's not official yet.
Oh my god, I cannot believe this is like an RTBP exclusive. I think this is the first time someone has told me like straight up news
Okay.
on the podcast. I wish people could see my face right now. I am in shock.
Are you ready for this next bomb?
No, but lay it on me.
I got quarantine surprise married.
Married? Ah! That's amazing. I'm obsessed with that.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, I like haven't told anybody yet because we still want like I know this is gonna go on the pod.
Yes.
So it's not gonna be a secret. We want like the big ceremony with everyone there.
Okay,
so
good.
If the wedding gets postponed, it's gonna be the next November.
Oh my god, that's so
I know,
long.
right?
I know.
But like realistically, like I don't know, everybody says like 18 months for the vaccine and like I don't want people to feel like at risk for a wedding.
Totally.
And I feel like we're all gonna be like itching for a vacay by then. So everyone's gonna have so much fun. Like it's just like all gonna work out.
Oh, of course, totally. Also, I feel like if your wedding is the first thing people do after quarantine ends, it'll be like the party of the century.
You're welcome, everyone. It's gonna be amazing. Like all the plans are still gonna remain the same and everything, but they like asked for more money when COVID started. And we were like, dude, like I'm pretty sure that's not how this works right now. Like there's a global pandemic. We don't owe you any money right now, and you're asking for more.
No.
Like, nah, dog. So that kind of like made it sketch. So I was like super down in the dumps about it, and then my partner had like this like most beautiful idea. He was like, well, we have to get legally married in Canada anyway. And he was like, why don't we do a surprise wedding in your parents' backyard?
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
We had like the wedding, like the four of us. I didn't wear like a wedding dress or anything because we still want the ceremony to be like the actual wedding. So we just like contacted a commissioner. She came. It was like the most beautiful, intimate wedding. And because we had nothing planned, it was so real. Like I didn't have to worry about things working out. And the most beautiful thing was everything came together. Like we literally picked tulips from my parents' garden and put them around an arbor 1 hour before the ceremony. And it was literally stunning. Like it was freaking stunning. It was like we planned it. We just like set up our speakers outside. We like had a chill lunch like an hour before and then like 20 minutes before the wedding, I was like, I guess I should like do my hair and put on a dress and makeup. And it was like fucking stunning. I have to send you pictures because it turned a bridezilla into like bridechilla. And I just like really
Yeah.
appreciated the moment and like for like the love and union that it's supposed to be about.
Totally. I love that. That's so exciting. And I'm so glad that you have that memory. That's so
Yeah,
special.
it's really special.
Congrats. That's amazing.
I haven't switched my last name yet. So like after, so that it's like, you know, all official. But
I love
as far
that.
as like Canada Revenue is concerned, I'm married.
Yeah. Yes. So you'll have like 2 wedding dates to
I
celebrate.
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, your little quarantine wedding date, and then when you have a ceremony.
What else is good news? Okay, Halo Top is on sale at Whole Foods. That was another win this week, so.
Honestly, I'm all about the small wins this week. 100%. Actually, all of quarantine. That is good news to me.
How about you?
I feel like I talk about this quite a bit on the podcast, but I think I'm happy about like the effort that I've put into the podcast this week and these past couple weeks. Because I think like when you start an endeavor, it's really hard to put yourself out there and show people that you like that are outside your like immediate circle, like parts of you and stuff. So I don't think it feels as easy for me as maybe it looks, or I hope it looks. And I think that like a lot of things are out of my wheelhouse that I've like learned. Like I couldn't imagine like editing together audio or like doing like marketing. I put that in loose quotations, or like even just the Photoshop things that I've learned this week. Like I cannot believe like some of the things that I'm doing. And I think it's also so easy to compare ourselves to people that have teams behind their podcast or who have been doing it for years, or it's their full-time job. We're like, this is a side project hobby for me, and I do everything by myself. And yeah, I think I just like have really high expectations for myself. And I'm really happy that in the past couple weeks that I put like a concerted effort into producing content and finding new guests and just, yeah, doing the thing. And yeah, I think like sometimes it's hard when like you spend like 5 hours editing a podcast. Or I think sometimes people are like, oh, that's just like off the cuff, which obviously all of this like mainly is off the cuff, but like we do edit it. I do edit it. And this is like another thing. I always say we. I'm like, check us out on Facebook, or like, thanks for following us. Or like I just said we edit the podcast for 5 hours. No, it's fucking me editing the podcast for 5 hours. So I think like, yeah, one of the good things is, yeah, bringing back some normalcy to my life as things reopen in BC, like going out for sushi. I'm probably going to go to like Home Sense after this, which is going to like rock my entire world. But yeah, also just like the things that I've been doing for the podcast, because I think it's easy to also just like get scared and stop, or compare yourself to others and like get down on yourself. And like,
you're doing amazing, honestly.
Thank you.
And you're also the revamp.
Yeah,
I love it. So fresh.
Okay, good. You are my target audience, so that's amazing to
If
hear.
I'm your target audience, like, I'm all in. Because this is, like, right up my alley.
Good. I think it's, like, also, like, this is something I've explored a lot on the podcast, but kind of like what you said before, like, I'm lots of, like, podcasts, like, support Facebook groups and stuff, and people are like, I'm looking for, like, people that are, like, can coach people through trauma, and, like, I'm looking for, like, divorced people who can like share their experiences. And it's like sometimes I just feel bad that I'm like talking about like shit that like is irrelevant basically, but like it, I don't know, like when people are like doing all of this like good work. But I don't know. I'm trying to like reframe that of like, I don't know. This is things that I like to do.
Exactly. And I think that comes with like, I guess confidence, but also like, yeah, I think you mentioned this earlier, like that comes with age. Like we're like, fuck it, I don't care. Like I don't want to read a novel about World War One. Like I want to read about a fucking teen romance and I don't care.
Totally. This is like, I might edit this out, but this even happened to me like the first time I went to Europe. I went to all of these museums.
I hate museums.
I was like, I fucking hate museums. Okay? I hate them.
Like I don't, like I was in Athens and I was in a fucking museum. And my partner was like, oh my God, look at this artifact from the ancient Rome. And I'm like, I know nothing about ancient Rome and I don't give a shit.
Same.
And it wasn't even ancient Rome because we were in Greece. So whatever they were called. Like what?
Ancient Greece. Oh my God, that's so funny. I just like learned that in a hot minute that like I'm not a museum type of person. I think that there's museums worth going to for
like
sure.
Like the Louvre. That's it.
Yeah, and like I liked when we went, when we were in Spain together, we both went to the Picasso Museum. Like there are things that are like, I went to the Frida Kahlo Museum. Like there are things that are like so classic that I do appreciate. But like, no, I'm not going to like fucking 7,000 like modern art museums.
No.
Ever.
Shoot me in the foot.
Literally. And so like, you're right. I think it's just like, you don't have to do what everyone else wants you to do. Just like do what you want to do.
You do you. I feel like this is my motto for the past 2 hours.
Yeah, me too. And that I guess comes with podcasting and museums.
And speaking of which, you're going to HomeSense. I'm going to watch the Lizzie McGuire movie after this. Like,
oh, classic. I think on the next podcast, I'm going to be talking a little bit of Lizzie McGuire.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
Yeah. With Olivia from Saturday Night Live podcast.
I'm dying. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good because there's lots of new Lizzie McGuire like content and Hilary Duff content. So we're both stans. So I think that's it from us. Thank you again, Lindsay. I can't believe it's been a year. Our next one, there won't be a year in between.
I am so happy to be back. I am an RTBP stan. I love the pod. I love you for doing you.
Thank you. Should RTBP's first merch up for sale be a tie-dye like sweatsuit?
Fucking shoot me. Oh my God.
But like something like gray tie-dye. Like
has to be gray.
Yeah, 100%. It has to be gray.
I would buy it.
Okay. Maybe TBD. Who knows? Who knows what will happen in quarantine? Thanks for coming on, Lindsay. Where can the listeners of RTBP find you?
You can find me at Lindsay Mia with 2 A's on Instagram. I don't post much, but when I do, you better believe it's about teenage shit like Hilary Duff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, me too. I love it. It's a 10 out of 10 follow. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you hear, follow along on Twitter and Instagram and join our Facebook group. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you and your loved ones stay safe and healthy during these times. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.